Why?
This place is infested with trolls.
Bum, 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 bum.
Hey, now you're just
Oh my god, what was that? They're horrible. Oh no, I've gone quiet. That's even more dangerous. I've heard of them tickling people to death.
What? I even...
Shh! Perhaps you could sing something. Get them going again.
Just some good old boy. Never been no
I don't
heart.
like that shit.
What?
I see no trace of those two safes that were here before this place was overrun by trolls. Look, we have to get him singing again. Maybe you could tell a story or something. Just keep talking. Keep talking, and that might keep him distracted. Otherwise, they might corner us. Give us wedgies and nuggies.
What am I talking about?
Look, just tell that story that you were going on and on about.
I feel
on
like
the way
they
up.
did. Okay, I won, when, the last time I went and
Get a hold of
visited-
yourself, man. Come on.
Okay, the last time I visited
Columbia, North Carolina. So it's a real long story because my family's lived there for about 300 years and was like slavers there and owned the store there for 1 million years, and my mom lives there. I got deep roots there, and I live about an hour away. The Confederate monument on the lawn there at the courthouse. Columbia is the county seat of Tyrrell County, a really poor county. The Confederate statue on the lawn has my family's name on it.
Oof.
And it also says something like, in remembrance of our faithful slaves or some shit. So clearly I've wanted it down for a long time. Okay, my whole family is like really against it coming down and are very right wing.
So not a good sign.
My mom tells me there's gonna be a march and she's worried that, there's gonna be violence or something. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta go. So whatever, I call a couple friends because I know how kind of racist,
Safe.
segregated, and conservative the place is.
No.
So I figure it's gonna be a fight.
Damn trolls.
Whatever. So I go. I texted her I was going and she was pissed. So I was like, it's on. Dang. I'm real upset. I'm real close to my family too. Like I love them to death. A couple of my favorite people live there. So anyway, I'm going into town and I'm pretty upset. Anyway, I decided to drive through. I see my family. But there's not like people holding guns or anything. See, this town is so small that like there's no anonymity in the whole county. I mean, there's just everybody absolutely knows everybody else. So as soon as I drive up and down, I don't really see rebel flags or shotguns yet. So I'm like, okay. But I saw my family and they're like eyeballing me like cold and hell was messed up. So anyway, whatever. I go park. My friends show up, and then every cop is on a first name basis with like basically everybody that's there. There was probably 50 to 100 people. So like we get ready to go. We start marching.
We're almost out of
And
here.
even though I've never lived there, I go there all the time throughout my life. So I noticed that, there's a person I know from work, and then there's somebody over here that like is the waitress at my grandparents' favorite restaurant. I was like, man, she's really sticking her neck out, to be organizing. Anyway, whatever. We start marching. It's like 3 blocks from the high school where both my parents went to the courthouse. We walk right by my mama's house, which is like 2 doors down from the courthouse. My mom like walks to the rail and turns her back on all of us. It was heartbreaking. And my grandma was up there looking daggers. It's messed up. It's pretty harrowing stuff because I really love them a lot, but whatever. So we get there to the courthouse, and it's wild because, I've been to plenty of protests before, and there's usually like, chants, and there's like counter protesters and stuff like that. And this was weirder than any that I've ever been to. It's so small of a town that everyone's like, accountability is this is the only thing I can rationalize, is like really high. So the cops actually don't let anybody tote guns or anything. Nobody's like counter protesting, like yelling anything. And then the march is like almost silent. Like people start to sing maybe a little bit, but they just march, man. It was crazy. We get there, and I realize it feels like an airing of grievances at like maybe a family reunion or something. Everybody's being really careful not to say something over the top. And I mean that's like on everybody I saw, even people clearly against it, were like not going to the extreme that like, I've seen tons of other places. It was wild. But anyway, it was mostly just like they set up a podium and people would start going up. And, I'm used to like kind of a couple pastors get up there, and I'm usually not too interested. But the pastors that got up were like, it was fascinating because everybody was from there, right? So they're talking about things that happened at this high school when things desegregated, or at this job up the road with possibly people that are gawking from the other side, right, with the Trump bumper stickers and stuff. So it was like incredibly like personal and intimate, and like, oh man, it was wild. So people like, I experienced job, I got laid off from this job for making a mistake, and all the white dudes that made the same mistake, didn't get fired, right, and this and that, right? But all like personal things, not calling out names, but like clearly implying. And if you're from the place, you start to suss out what they're talking about. But everybody, like I said, is being careful because there's like 800 people. It's a county seat, and there's 800 people in the town. So, lady gets up, starts talking about it was terrible things. She's an older lady, and she was talking about how there was a credit system at the store, right, back in the day, and they had to pay on payday. Couldn't miss a day or your credit was voided, right? And so one time their daddy went to the hospital, and so they came back the next day and was like, I'm sorry, we couldn't pay, and the younger woman in the family was like, maybe I'll let it slide. But then her father-in-law was like, y'all should have come on the way to the hospital. Y'all don't got no credit here, right? And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, man, there's probably a 50% chance that was my folks that did that. And I was crying, man. It was like, that was that visceral the whole time, right? Just like, yeah, very familial, very wild. So, anyway, one white dude gets up, and he's familiar to me, but I can't remember, where I've talked to him. He gets up, and he starts talking about all the black folks that he, have been a big deal in his life in Colombia and stuff like that. But he eventually, gets down to, like, he says, oh, but it would just break my heart if we tore down the statue. And, like, just tension, it grips all of us, right? Standing in the middle of the street in front of the courthouse. And he starts there, and he just keeps getting cringier. Finally, I yelled something out, man. I was just like, take it down, and somebody else was like, thank God you said it, and then I was just horrified, right, that the one white dude that got up, doing that. So then I was like, oh my God, with my whole family looking on, my like whole neo-Confederate family looking on, I was like, man, I think I gotta say something. And and my granddaddy is the reporter for the paper, so he's standing 15 feet away, and I get up there and I speak out. I was like, yo, you know, my family fought in the Confederacy and stuff, and like, I want it down. Like, it's not, you know, it's me too, because I don't want my name to be associated with that anymore. You know, we've done lots of things, and it shouldn't be that's up on a pedestal. You know, symbols are important. I was like, you know, I hear what white people say when they think that they're safe, right? And you know, racism ain't magically over. Like, they try to, you know, complain we're whining for nothing. You know, I'm around law enforcement for my work sometimes, and I know what they say. You know, I like read as a white person, so I know what they say.